Welcome for Premier Magazine. This is Ad Emmen reporting from the Super Day event in Amsterdam. And we're talking here with Anwar Osseyran, who is the director of the Surf-Sara Supercomputing Center, who is the main organizer of this event. Welcome, Anwar.
Thank you, Ad.
Anwar, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes, as you have introduced me, I'm in fact a member of the board of SURF. SURF is a national organization. It's a cooperative. It is a cooperative in which all organizations in research and education in the Netherlands are collaborating with each other in order to offer common ICT services and common high-performance computing services. So I am a member of the board of that organization. At the same time, I'm responsible for Surf-Sara. Surf-Sara is one of the companies of SURF that is focusing on providing high-performance computing services for all members of SURF. At the same time, I am a part-time professor at the University of Amsterdam with a portfolio of data analytics and computer science.
So let's talk a little bit about SURF. So it's a type of, you could say, it's on one hand an old organization. SURFnet is very well known for many years. And Sara is also very well known. And now they have come together and it's one organization. But you also mentioned members. What are the members of SURF?
Now, SURF, or Sara, in fact, is existing already for almost 45 years. And SURFnet also is existing for a long period. What has happened is that Sara has merged with SURF, and Sara became Surf-Sara. And also, we have changed the status and the organization of SURF. So SURF now is a cooperative, so really a cooperative which has various members, and those are all the academic institutions in the Netherlands, all the technical high schools in the Netherlands, and they all collaborate with each other in order to offer better ICT services to researchers, but also to people working in the education field.
Yeah, so that's very interesting, because the Netherlands are known for its, let's say, legal type of foundation. And foundation is used by all types of organizations, including, for instance, EGI and I think also EETP for HPC is a Dutch foundation. So the Dutch foundation is used by a lot of international organizations, but now you've turned to another legal structure.
Correct. So it is now a cooperative. The cooperative has a board of directors, and it is formed of 4 directors. One of them, I'm one of them, as the director of Surf-Sara, but also a member of the board of directors. But you have the director of SURFnet, the director of Surf Market, and the director of Surf Holding. And all 4 form, let's say, the executive board of SURF. We do have a board of trustees, and we do have also a board of the members. So the members, they are the owners, let's say, of SURF, and the board of directors are the executives who are in charge of running the organization, and of course the board of trustees does the supervisory role on the organization.
Yeah, so the members are the owners. It's not a society where people come together, but they really own, the members own SURF. Is that true?
Yes, you can say that. Yes, yes, it is a cooperative, so the members are the owners.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's interesting for e-infrastructures in Europe, where people in different countries are trying to find solutions to the problem how to organize this type of
absolutely,
services.
absolutely. And we really believe that this helps, let's say, take ownership of what we are doing. So we are from and for the members.
Yeah. So in one way or the other, you could say this solves the problem that you always try to do something for the users, and that you also want to have users involved. But on the other hand, you cannot say, okay, you have to pay by the hour, because that it would be too difficult for the administration. But this solves it, because in fact the users are from universities, research institutes, and they own more or less you. So
yes. Now this is a very let's say complex issue. Which business model are we having within SURF? And so this is something that we are working on. We do have services where people pay for. So this is part of the total business model. And there are certain, let's say, services that cannot be paid by the users. In fact, you do not want them to pay for, because you want to encourage them to make use of those. Mainly, when we talk about high-performance computing, we are talking about huge investments that are involved, and those huge investments are needed to make sure that the Netherlands is on top of the list of countries that are using, let's say, high value or high quality, let's say, infrastructure. So in that case, it is very important to have a top-down approach where the resources are made available to the researchers, but on the other side, you have to put a limit to what people are using in terms of computing capacity or in terms of storage.
Of course, yeah.
So the model that we have found is that when we are talking about commodity ICT, commodity ICT that is provided also by the market, then we provide those services ourselves, or we try to get them on the marketplace. But in the same time, we try to make a feedback loop with regard to the use of resources. So in many cases, people are paying for those resources. In the case of high-performance computing, what we try to do is we try to see whether the Netherlands is in the same league as countries where the Netherlands should be in, and in that sense you can budget beforehand how much money you should reserve for those resources.
Yep. So let's now move a little bit to the computing center itself. I saw this morning that you are working on a new big building, you could say,
yes,
where you will have part of the building. It's 3 or 4 floors. Can you tell a little bit about why that is?
Yeah. Now, Sarah before that had its own data center. But the data center is now a little bit, let's say, outdated with regard to the specification and requirements that are needed for high-performance computing equipment. And this is why we organized a tender about 2 years ago. And what the formula that we thought of is different. The formula that we thought of is it is better to have a data center inside a data center. Yeah. So having your own data center is quite costly, and it needs a lot. It needs a lot of knowledge about data center business and knowledge about other things that we are in fact proficient in. So the formula that we used was to approach the market and try to build our own high-performance computing data center inside a data center that is built by a big party in the marketplace. And we have had many offers, and at the end, the result of the tender was that Telecity has won the bid, and Telecity was planning and is building this is a building that you saw this morning, a large tower, a huge tower, in fact, of about 70 meters high, in which we have rented 2 floors, and in those 2 floors we are establishing our own data center. So the advantage is that we do not have to make the big capital investment of making the total building. We can only focus on how to use this data center, while Telecity is in charge of the installation equipment, is in charge of the security measures and so on. But in the same time, we can optimize the data center for ourselves.
So what are the specific things that you need to do for high-performance computing in a data center?
Oh, yeah. The difference between a data center for high-performance computing and a data center for commodity equipment is, in fact, can be characterized by a certain number of things. One is that data center for high-performance computing requires a higher density of energy per square meter. And while a data center for commodity, in fact, it depends, of course, on the users, because you can have also a data center for commodity with a high density, but mostly it is low density. So this is one difference. The other difference is the fact that, so why it is important? Because you have to provide this energy on a very small number of square meters, and you have to make sure that the cooling is also taking care of taking the heat out of the building. So this is one thing. The other thing is that in most of the time, when you are providing support to researchers, the business of researchers is not as critical as the business of internet companies or commercial companies that cannot afford to have a downtime. So if there is a downtime at a commercial data center, they have a big, let's say, loss, commercial loss. And this is why it is very important to have a redundancy in the installation equipment. And the redundancy in the installation equipment is very expensive. So when you have a data center for high-performance computing, you do not have to have that redundancy. So you have to have to make more expenses on having the possibility of having high density, high energy density per square meter. But on the other side, you can economize on the installation cost, installation equipment cost. So this is where the trade-off has to be made, and this is why customization of a data center for high-performance computing is different than the customization of a data center for commodity services.
What will you put in? I just heard that the Dutch government has given some €8 million partly for supercomputer. And now the additional money, I guess.
Yeah, it was mentioned. In fact, the extra money that we have got is related to all the activities of SURF, and this is up to the board of directors to decide how to distribute the money. And we are responsible, of course, for various areas of computing and ICT resources like computing, storage, networking, but also other services that we are offering like security and education technology or ICT and education. But nevertheless, what we are going to put in the data center, of course, we are going to house the national supercomputer, Cartesius, and we do have also the grid equipment, the cloud equipment, the data storage equipment that is used by scientists in the Netherlands.
And that will be mainly the same type of machines that are available?
Yeah, we are going to move from our existing data center to the new data center. And this is a major operation. And this will happen in the second half of 2016.
Yeah, because it's 200 meters or 300 meters from one building to the other. But
yeah, it is. The distance between the two buildings, you mean? Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it's a major operation because, of course, all equipment that we have are connected and so on. And we have to shut them down and then move them to the new building.
Yeah. So so that's the supercomputer and the other high-performance computing equipment, big data, etc. So it's used by researchers all over the Netherlands, but you are also involved in some type of research.
Yeah.
What's your
now in my part-time, let's say, allocation as appointment as a professor at the University of Amsterdam, it is Amsterdam Business School. My focus is on smart health and smart energy. And it contains, in fact, it involves three elements. One element is business modeling. So which business models, which new business models should be developed for smart health and for smart energy. The second one is ICT, or specifically HPC, which are the supercomputing and the big data elements in it. So how to incorporate supercomputing or to use supercomputing and big data to make health smarter and also energy systems smarter. And the third element is the domain itself. So the domain itself is energy or health.
Yep. So in smart health, what type of things are you specifically looking at there? Now,
in smart health, I'm very fascinated by systems medicine. And as it has been announced around the end of former decade, so in 2009, in fact. So it is the P4, the predictive, preventive, personalized, and participatory. So if you want to, in fact, to make from medicine an exact science, you have to incorporate ICT inside the way that we are doing medicine. And the essence there is that we have to gather as much information as possible about patients. In fact, not only about patients, but also about human beings in general. So the difference between being healthy and being sick is also fuzzy. When are you healthy and when are you sick? So it's very important to have to gather all information about people and know, let's say, when somebody is, in fact, somebody's health is deteriorating and he is going to become sick from being healthy to become sick. So the essence in smart health would be in making use of data, so measuring, quantifying people by putting sensors inside people, around people, and on people, so using the Internet of Things to gather as much data as possible about patients. But on the other side, it is very important also to incorporate intelligence, like we have heard this morning in a presentation about how to cure some forms of cancer or to study some form of cancer, so to incorporate models inside the computing and big data in order to have better predictions and to be able to interpret predictions. In fact, at the moment, this is one of the biggest problems of big data, is that the big data engines, they are able to give predictions, but it is very difficult to explain what they mean. They mean. So I'm a firm believer in the importance of continuing working on modeling, so understand and make models, and of course combine that with big data techniques, big data analytics, machine learning techniques in order to make medicine preventive, so that you can predict beforehand which things shouldn't be done in order to not to get sick. So preventive, so predictive, so you can predict the process of sickness, and then personalized and participatory. In the case of personalized, correlations between let's say data of a patient and phenotype of patients and knowledge about which treatments should be given to which categories of patients. People talk also about precision medicine, so grouping people in categories or in groups, and then try to define for every group which treatment is the best suited for those people. So this is the personalized or the precision medicine, and participatory. It is very important that people also all contribute by providing their own information, so that you have enough information in order to, let's say, make the predictions.
Yeah, so you mean that people can, you mentioned that they should have sensors which measure the things that are happening, and then they should participate in research or in the medicine, the healthcare itself?
Absolutely. Like in the keynote this morning about ALS, how to, let's say, to fight ALS, we saw that people needs all the information from all the patients, so people should provide their data. And of course, we have heard also this morning about the problem of privacy, because you can, if you provide your data, you are also, of course, concerned about privacy. So this is where there is a paradox. I believe that we should and we must, for the macroeconomic and for the macro collective interest, we have to provide our own data, but on the same time, we have to make legislations that prohibit people of misusing private data. So in many cases, I advocate the usage of machine-to-machine communication. So if we have machines connecting to each other and people providing even their private information to machines that do the number crunching and get towards the conclusions that are needed, it would be great. And of course, we have to have legislation that prohibit people of misusing of the data that is being communicated among machines.
So people are, say, connected to one machine. They provide their data, their information to that machine, and then if other machines do calculations or whatever, they only take or get the information that's necessary for them or for let's say, the application on that machine. Is that the model?
Now, the model is, from one side, of course, as I've said, you have sensors inside your body, sensor on your body, and also sensor around you. So we are really talking about a huge amount of data. So this is where the big data thing will come in. This combined with modeling, but also combined with machine learning, you can, by modeling and machine learning, can learn a lot about which things do work and which things do not work. And the model should be that all this data, I would be in favor of sharing all this data among all the machines and that are working on the models. But of course, once the private data, if there is private data is used, the private data should be destroyed, and we should make sure that people are not able to misuse the data that is being shared among machines. Why am I talking about machines? Because machines, they are programmed. You can control which function they do, and you have to control that they are not misused by other people.
Yeah, so machine is, you could say, a computer system plus an application on it, and that's kind of isolated or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an interesting model. Yeah. Why is it actually important?
Now, it is very important because the way that we are doing now, we are conducting healthcare is going into a dead end. We are not able to pay for healthcare in the same way that we are doing it now. It will be more and more difficult to provide all the funding necessary for different reasons. One reason is that equipment are becoming more and more expensive. We know more and more about diseases and about treatments, and people, they believe, and maybe they are right about that, but they believe that they have the right to get the best treatment that goes with their own diseases. But we are not able to afford that. So this is from one side. On the other side, of course, we are suffering from an aging population, especially in the Western world, and in that sense, it will be impossible to, let's say, provide all the necessary funding for that. So we have to be more smarter about how to deal with healthcare, and one way of doing this is making use of the data that is available and avoiding giving people treatments that are irrelevant for them. In fact, at the moment it is happening. Many people, because we do not know, we do not know whether a treatment will be successful with somebody or not, and we are in fact more or less obliged, or we feel obliged that we have to provide them with the best treatment that we can that we know at the moment. So if we know beforehand which treatments should be given, then it is a win-win. A win because we are not making any expenses that are unnecessary. It is a win also for the patient because the quality of life of those patients is not influenced by treatments that are not relevant for them. This is from the side, let's say, of the economics. From the size of the quality, of course, precision medicine does provide much better quality for the treatment that you are getting because we are much more focused on the treatment that would apply in your case. We do not lose time, and we are much more effective.
How do you see the future in these developments?
Now, I think it is a very fascinating future. There are many developments at the moment in the world about, in fact, machine learnings and incorporation of data analytics and machine learning inside the healthcare domain. I believe that those developments are here to stay, and I believe that ICT will play a more important and maybe a major role, in fact, in the systems medicine or in the medicine of the future, where computers, supercomputers, will be involved in machine learning and into analytics, data analytics, analyzing all the measurements of equipment around us, and making use of healthcare models to develop treatments that, in fact, to make a diagnosis. Maybe it is a computer-assisted diagnosis, assisting, let's say, medics into getting to the right diagnosis, and also getting to the right treatment for patients. Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing this vision with us.
You're welcome.
For Premier Magazine, this was Alt Emmen reporting.